As we return to the Beyond the Flags podcast, we've got a guest out of Merced, California. Chase Awe is the driver's name. Chase coming back to racing after taking a year off in 2024. He's got a unique story that includes a heavy baseball background, also was a monster truck driver, and occasionally still is, as well as a Friesen Performance IMCA Modified pilot. Hear how he got his start, and then some, here on the Beyond the Flags podcast. That interview is coming up next. But before we get to the interview, make sure wherever you're listening or watching from, you hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future episodes. Well, representing gorgeous and scenic Central Valley of California, we've got Chase Awe. He's out of Merced, and he is coming back to Friesen Performance IMCA Modified action in 2025. Chase, great to have you here. We go back a bit, and it's always great to have a chance to chat with you about racing.
Yeah, man, I absolutely love it. Any opportunity I get to talk to you, world famous Ben, I love cherishing the time for sure.
Well, we'll talk about the albatross that's in the room. You're coming back in 2025, raced some in 2023, but took 2024 off. Was it just kind of one of those deals to circle the wagons and come out and run a full season, or what kind of made you step away as well as come back, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, in all honesty, life kind of just hit me. I had some stuff go down at work, lost a bunch of money, got really humbled, and then on top of it was super blessed. My wife and I now have 2 kids, and it's been an adventure for sure. So it just came down to really just taking care of my family and being responsible. And that ultimately was the biggest deciding factor. I raced a little bit, and I did some monster truck stuff to try and pay the bills. I have a bit of a background in that, and the monster trucks were a lot of fun. They helped pay the bills a little bit, and then now that I have been picked up back on my feet, and I got family getting back into racing, and my feet are a little more stable, and my faith's grown a little bit. I just look forward to attacking 2025. I'm pretty stoked for it.
Yeah, and there's no shame in that, where you gotta take care of the home front, right? Because at the end of the day, and I know Central California, it's Merced isn't that bad as far as price to live, but California in general, it's a spendy place to live, and obviously with the family, you got to take care of those things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody, like, I got a lot of buddies in Iowa, and guys that just race all over the place. And they always make fun of us California guys. And it's really hard as a community because, we always talk about, like, man, I talked to a guy today just about how California racing is it's getting hit hard. And we were talking about a buddy of mine, Paul Stone, and how he's trying to do his part with Merced Speedway. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually partnering up with him with some exciting stuff this year that we're trying to plan out and make happen. And it takes a community to come together and try and get this thing to work, to really be successful. And not to mention, not to be political, but gosh, just the taxes here kill us, and it's so expensive. So you guys out east, I mean, have a little mercy on us. We would love to come out and race in Iowa all the time, but it's hard to leave home. You're just kind of stuck here,
Yeah, no doubt. But I'm glad that you brought up Paul, Merced Speedway. Keeping that place going, and that's one of my favorite racetracks in California because it reminds me of some of the bull rings that are up here in the Pacific Northwest, and even it's got a little, maybe some Marshalltown-esque kind of attitude to it. Just high bank, it's a tight, fast little track, and it's really fun to watch some racing.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm pretty sure, I know Paul goes out east a lot, out to Iowa and races, and I'm pretty sure Marshalltown's one of his favorite tracks. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he likes to run his. I mean, he runs his track very professional, and it's always a great racing surface. And it's funny. So the first time I actually met you, I took the mod out to, and I'd never really been in any race cars before. I had like a hobby stock for a few races and ran it a few times. I was like, you know what, my cousins are all doing modified racing. I'm just gonna try it. And we went down to Cocopah. So the Cocopah Winter Nationals was my first race. And, first time in a car, I had to ask my cousin Alex how to make the car go. It was pretty pathetic. And anyway, I went out on the track, and, I looked like I was going to knock the wall down, and he was covering his face. And then I went in the pits, and he gave me some words of wisdom, calmed me down quite a bit. And I went out and I passed a few cars, and man, he was so proud of me, and it was just such a humbling experience for me. I loved it. And it's funny to go from Kokopah, which it's a long, big track, right? And I thought, man, when I come back to California, I'm just going to kill it. And I go to Merced, and it's just the turns come up on you so quick. The action is just, it happens all so quick. And it's such an amazing track. But gosh, it's just, everything's moving so fast. It's a hard track to get around. And you have to have some real skill to race there. That's for sure.
Well, I'm trying to think. You 21 Winter Nationals, I was there. And then I got to see you a couple months later at kind of the big grand reopening that they had with S&S Promotions coming in and taking over. That would have been the Shannon Memorial, I think.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that was when we actually got to have a real conversation. I mean, you're so busy at Winter Nationals, I get it, but it was. I think we may have gotten rained out a day or something. I can't quite remember, but that was the first time I really got to talk to you, and we hit it off. So it's been a cool experience ever since, just to know you and get to meet get to see your family on Facebook at least and stuff like that. So it's been cool, man.
Yeah. And I just remember asking you, man, you got 3 letters in your last name and they're all valves. How does this fuse together? But it's awe. I think I've heard it called different things, but obviously I thank you for that for not embarrassing me. So
yeah, no problem at all. Trust me, I get things. I mean, I get telemarketer calls every day, and it's owie or ooh or you name it. I've heard it. Avenue. The craziest stuff comes out of people's mouths, but I get it. It's a hard last name to say, that's for sure.
Yeah, they probably think you're like some sort of Polynesian name or something, and some big Samoan.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've gotten that with multiple customers of mine where they're like, "Oh man, I thought you were going to be an Asian guy, and I'm just this big corn-fed white dude."
Yeah. Well, going back to meeting you in that first year when you were in the modifieds. I guess let's go to the very start where your love for racing began.
Right. Yeah. So I originally came out of an athletic background. I was a baseball player for years, and there was a time where I just really loved baseball. And then it got to the point where, my coaches were telling me, you're going to get the call, you're going to be up there and playing in the big leagues one day. And it just never, I started to realize once it became my job, just how much I disliked baseball. Mm-hmm. And kind of a godsend and a blessing. My wife, she bought me Monster Jam tickets, and she took me for my birthday to go watch Monster Jam. And I was like, man, I forgot how much I loved motorsports. And then I went and watched my cousin Alex race. And it was just like, it all came back to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing pretty good in life right now. I have some money saved up. I'm going to buy a modified, and I'm going to go out and drive monster trucks and just try to live the dream life for a little bit. We didn't have any kids at the time or anything like that. So it was my opportunity to travel and go see the world. And that's exactly what I did. And, with my competitive nature, coming up through baseball and everything like that, it was a pretty quick jump for me to hop behind the seat of a modified. I mean, a lot of people came up to me and were like, man, you really weren't afraid to send it there, just put it on the wall. And sometimes it makes me look stupid. Believe me, I've had my fair share of spin outs and not looking good on tracks, but it's just kind of one of those rookie deals. But, that competitive nature in me has just made me want to become better and better at this. And at the end of 22, so that was when I wrecked my car. That was kind of like when my life, everything kind of hit me. And I just knew, hey, I'm going to keep pushing. I bought another car. I bought a Victory Circle out of Bakersfield. And it's actually Daryl Hughes' old car. He's a good buddy of mine. And he said it was a roller, so I trusted him. I bought it, and we got the old sled coming together. And I'm hoping, maybe this week or next week, I know we have a practice in Merced, so I got to decide whether I want to hit a race out on the coast or if I just want to stay local and hit a practice here in Merced before I go out and just try and jump into it, Yeah,
for sure. Well, and like like you said, baseball is super competitive. There's only so many spots on the roster, and racing is very similar to that. There's only so many spots in the main event, and obviously Winter Nationals is a great exception, and even the Central California Clash shows that they've had. There's only so many spots, and there's some top dogs, and you do have to bring your A game. You're not going to be cut and say, hey, you can't race a modified again. But in the sense, like, that competitive nature definitely can transition pretty well.
Oh yeah. I mean, I try to be as respectful as I can, to all the guys. Like, I mean, I race door to door with Jim Pettit, Bobby Hogue, you know, I've been next to Ethan Dotson and, you know, Alex Stanford, all these guys that are big names out here on the West Coast. And, trying to keep up with them is one thing, but what I really had to learn is if your car's not there and you don't know what it's doing, you kind of just have to back off and get the heck out of the way. And for somebody like me, you know, that was really tough at first because I'm just thinking, well, I just need to drive it harder, or I need to drive better. And sometimes you have to take time to dissect the car and figure out what's going on with it. And I didn't have that at first, and now that I am listening a lot more to the guys around me and taking in all the adjustments you have to make from the, you know, front to rear suspension. There's just so much that go into these things. And it's really beneficial when you just put your hat on and sit there, scratch your head for a little bit and try and figure out things and what works best for you, you know?
Yeah. Well, and you know, not to bring up too many analogies with baseball and stuff, right? Home runs are great. You know, just smacking the HE double hockey sticks out of it, but also effectiveness, right? Of getting on base, right? Or just, you know, throwing harder is cool, you know, to go 111 miles an hour, Paul Skeen gas, but
right.
You got to think about effectiveness, you know, going one lap at Pell Mell till you're about to go dizzy because you're going at Mock Jesus. You got to put 30 laps, 25 laps, whatever it is together and just be effective and consistent and in a good rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I'm not even sure I'm there yet. I'm really trying. Like I said, I'll have a new car this year, so it's going to be a completely different feel. But you made the perfect analogy there. I actually, one of your favorite baseball players, Will Clark, I was talking to him hitting one day, and, you know, he's a big name in Major League Sports. Mm-hmm. And he was talking to me just about what I need to do to hit the ball left or right and have an opposite field approach. And I don't even know if I should say it, but he absolutely hated Brandon Belt. He hated his approach at the plate because he just wanted to pull the ball. He wanted to leave the yard every time, you know, just pull the ball to right field. And you know, I was a left-handed hitter as well. And so we talked about that quite a bit. Like, hey, it's okay to, you know, go the other way and have that opposite field approach. And I'm still learning that in the race car. Just slow down a little bit, you know, especially when the track flicks off, just enter the turn a little bit less on the gas and just try and get through it smooth and you'll start to see your lap times pick up. And that's been really fun for me to learn. And I've had great help around me to get me through that and kind of, you know, show me what I need to do to get through each and every turn and dissect the turn, you know? So it's been rough, a rough few years or a rough couple years in the beginning. And then once I got kind of going and put my own program together, it really started to roll for me, and I appreciate all the people who helped me get there.
Brandon Belt. I don't know how many times that I just would turn the game off, and it's, you know, the count is 4-0, and you find a way to strike out by not swinging. So
the dude was unbelievable. I mean, and then he, a ball, you know, a foot off the plate, you know, on the opposite side of the plate, and he'd pull it out of the yard. He'd find a way to do it, and that's why they kept him around.
Sure. Yeah, he got some rings. I will give him that. So
got to give him that. He's a world champion.
Yes. Yeah, and something cool that you did was later in 2021 is you know, unfortunately my wife had passed away, but you had got me a Will Clark signed bobblehead, which is super cool because he was, you know, I wasn't the biggest Giants fan growing up. I was Frank Thomas and the Chicago White Sox, you know, first baseman, but you know, that was my granddad's team. But, you know, when I started to like the Giants, I really liked Will Clark because he wore the eye black and, you know, he was a scrapper, you know. But that's still with me today, and I really appreciate it.
Hey, that's awesome, man. I mean, that's why we do it. I honestly, I mean, if you were to talk to Will, I've never I've never met anyone that could slam as many Coors Lights as that guy can. So he's a pretty cool guy to hang out with, and I hope one day you get to meet him because, man, he drank me under a table to the point where I don't even drink anymore. So
that's funny. Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
Eugene M's, they're a Giants affiliate, and he when he was getting inducted in the hall, they had, you know, a bunch of Will the Thrill nights. So I mean, he's not too far from me every now and then. I'll have to just you know, take a peek at his schedule and see when he'll be at a Eugene M's game.
Yeah, honestly, dude, he is one of the coolest guys. You can go up to him and talk to him for hours. He'll just hang out with you. And like I said, he loves Coors Light. So if you gift him a Coors Light, he'd appreciate it. So.
Well, you brought something up very interesting. You said your wife took you to a Monster Jam, and you were a monster truck driver?
Yeah, no. So I've been driving monster trucks and wrenching on them for, 9-10 years now.
Okay.
And my wife and I have been together a long time. And so, yeah, she took me to Monster Jam like in 2016, I want to say. So, yeah, about 9 years. And that year, I just dropped everything, and I went from, you know, a shop floor sweeper to eventually I got the keys to a truck. And a team out of Utah, Team Throttle Monster, my buddy Mike Christensen, he was like, hey, do you want to come out here to drive? So I went on tour, and I got to drive and learned a lot, and then I just kept doing it. And another buddy of mine, he's right out of the Sacramento area. He gives me the keys to the truck from time to time. But with having kids and everything, I'm completely fine with being a fill-in driver. So whenever somebody needs somebody to fill in, you know, somebody can't make it, I'm the guy they call. And it's been awesome for me. I really appreciate that because, you know, I can't do those guys live a hard life. I mean, I know the guys that travel weekly for IMCA or whatever the series might be. Like those guys have it rough being out on the road so much. But the monster truck guys do the same thing, and it's really hard on your body. And I know that firsthand. And yeah, so anytime you want to catch a monster truck show on the West Coast, you give me a call. I'll get you in. I got a lot of buddies in the industry.
Well, was there any trucks that you drove that maybe some listeners or some fans might recognize?
Yeah, so actually in, 2020, I broke my back at Ventura Speedway. I did that track. I also did Tucson, which I believe was an asphalt track.
Okay.
But if you're in the Tucson area, I did that show in Equalizer. I've done Tulare here locally, well, just up the road from me. I've done Tulare and Survivor. Just trucks here and there, tracks here and there. It's a lot of small time shows, but when I hop up in the truck, my kid swears I'm Gravedigger, and that's like the coolest feeling in the world to me, you know?
Well, what was your favorite place to go as far as traveling? And it doesn't have to be because the venue was cool. Maybe it was the area was cool or the atmosphere, or even when you weren't wrenching on things, they had some cool points of interest that you could just kind of relax around. Yeah,
so I went up to let's see. So Ventura was cool. Ventura, honestly, that was just a beautiful place because you're right on the beach and the history. I knew the history of the midgets racing there and Turkey Night and all that. So that was pretty cool to be at. But there was one track up in Washington. I can't remember the name of the fair that we did up there. It'll come to me the second we get off this call. But the fans up in Washington were unreal. Were nuts.
Was it dirt or paved?
It was dirt.
So I'm thinking probably Grays Harbor Raceway. It's either
maybe
Grays Harbor or Skagit. There's really only two.
Yeah, maybe Grays. I honestly can't remember. But I know that was Washington is really cool. It's also a little depressing, but the weather was beautiful when I was there, so
sure.
I really enjoyed it. But every trip I made to Arizona, especially Tucson, that was really cool. But I would say overall, just the beach at Ventura. I mean, that track is so cool. I'd love to take the mod there, but it's like a go-kart track. It looks so small and it races so small, but the racing seems to be pretty good. So I don't know. Maybe sometime this summer or something, I'll have to get out to Ventura Speedway.
There you go.
Yep.
Are you looking to find that adrenaline rush, but you can't because you're not at the racetrack? Well, check out the IMCA TV replay subscription library to have access to thousands of hours of racing for just $24.99 a month. Relive all the moments of the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals fueled by Casey's at Boone Speedway, the Harris Clash at Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota, the IMCA TV Winter Nationals at Cocopah Speedway in Somerton, Arizona, Florida's Clash on the Coast, and dozens of Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program racetracks from across the nation, as well as the IMCA TV Dirtcast podcast. Plus, 25% of that $24.99 monthly fee goes towards the Drivers Point Fund and is a great way to help out your local racers. In 2023, over $97,000 was paid out to IMCA drivers directly at over 50 racetracks across the country. Please note that live broadcasts are not part of a replay subscription. That's IMCA TV. IMCA TV, where America comes to watch racing. 28. That's the number that I've always known you as. What's the inspiration of choosing the number 28?
Yeah, so I was born December 28th. The first dirt bike I ever got, oddly enough, had a 28 on it. I don't know, just 28's always been kind of one of those, my baseball number was 28. It's just always been one of those things that popped up in my life. So I was like, you know what, I'll just stick to 28. And I tried to get my son pushed out on the 28th, my first son. I tried to get him pushed out on the 28th, but my wife was lacking. So she pushed him out on the 29th. So I don't know. It's just always been a thing. And I don't know. I like the number, so I keep it.
Okay, there you go. It's just one of those things. For me, it's like 112 because that's what I wrestled in school.
Oh, okay.
I'll look at something and somebody's waving at me and it's section 112 or my seat is 112 or my room is 112. It's like, oh boy. So
I didn't know you wrestled. Well, I'll know if something ever goes wrong. I'll know not to mess with you when I get on the infield.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. I'll have to charge you an appearance fee. So
yeah.
If you need any backup, it's a pretty hefty fee. So.
Oh, well, I'll always need that. Yeah, for sure. I'm sure I've pissed off enough people getting in the way, or even passing people. I know it's out here on the West Coast, man. There's a lot of pride in the modified division, and not to say anybody would ever fight. Of course not. Like that, we keep things pretty clean out here. But it's funny to see. Going from the athletic background into this, guys get fired up over these cars. I mean, everybody wants to win, you know?
Sure.
And it's hard. Some of in my opinion, man, the West Coast produces some great drivers. And, I see guys like Trevor Fitz going out east and Troy Morris and they're buddies of mine. I've talked to them out here at the track. And they're fast out here and they go out there and they're pretty lights out fast out there too. So it's really cool to see. And I just wish Paul and I were actually just talking about this. We're trying to put something together to where maybe some more West Coast guys can come out here and race a big race out here for some good money. And at some point, maybe we can get a bigger race together and get some Iowa guys out this way. I know it's a long way to travel, but California is pretty. I got 10 acres. You come park your camper out here and we'll just have a party.
There you go. Oz Awesome RV Park. So
that's perfect.
Yeah. I'll take a percentage out of that right now. So
yeah. Just make sure you get that covered because that is a good one.
Yeah, my fiance's a lawyer. We'll have some paperwork drawn up. Yeah. Hey, now I think that'd be really cool. It'd be super cool, especially. I mean, obviously, whenever you want to have it is whenever you're going to have it. Right. But yeah, to showcase. Obviously the talent has been showcased, and I'm not trying to be a homer, but you look at the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals fueled by Casey's and Dylan Thornton winning last year. Tim Ward, a Western United States guy, but Tom Berry Jr., Cody Laney. It's pretty cool to see that happen. And then Chaz Baca Jr., Western United States driver, but he spent some time in California too, winning the national championship the last couple years. And I think too, also, to point out also is the Carl Chevrolet IMC Northern Sport Mods, where you're seeing the talent of Tyler Bannister. Had a really good fall last year in Iowa and was a runner-up at Super Nationals in 23. So I think it's promising kind of all around. Oh,
yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said with Tyler, that's one of the guys, I mean, I guess technically the sport mods are, it's a 2-link car. It's a less horsepower engine, but man, those guys get it on out here on the West Coast. And Tyler's one of those sport mod guys, and he's always so kind to me. I have no shame. I'll go up and ask him what he's doing with this and that. And that's been the coolest thing for me is the West Coast is filled with a ton of talent. And, there's guys out there that are willing to help. And if we don't have that, we can't produce better racing. I mean, we don't want to see it die out here. And that's
sure.
Right back to the point. We all need to do our part. And I'm really proud of our community. I just wish the state would work with us a little more to try and keep things going. I don't know. I'm going to have to put, I'm inches away from just jumping in my modified every morning and daily driving it to work because things are getting so expensive.
Yeah.
And the state's going to have to start working with us a little bit. We just can't afford these taxes. But
yeah. Well, hey, if you need an announcer for that big show, you got my number.
Yeah.
I'd love to come down.
Yeah. No, Paul's the big boss. I'd have to talk to him. He's promoting the whole thing. But yeah, I think that would be super cool. I think you're one of the best in the industry. So it would be awesome to see you out here. And plus, it's always a good time when you come out and hang out with us.
For sure. Well, talking about Merced, California, again, we're going to have you have the Ministry of Tourism for Merced. It's actually a pretty cool town because everybody, I think there's a stereotype. They think California is big cities, they see San Francisco, they see LA, and maybe see Sacramento, but a lot of it is rural and agricultural, and Merced is super cool because it kind of reminds me of my town that I live in. It the population is decent, but I love the downtown of Merced. They've got the county courthouse with the big. That's the one with the rotunda dome and everything, right?
I don't know.
It's like an old building.
Yeah. Yep. You're on the money.
But like the Cold Stone, you've got In-N-Out there, you've got and then just, it looks like a really cool community to live in.
Yeah. So my family's been in this community for, let's see, my great grandfather came out here and started dairy years. I mean, we're talking maybe 1916 or something like that. Okay. I don't know the history of it. But he came out here from Kansas, and it's this part of from here to, or actually even from just south of Sacramento down to Bakersfield, there's dairies everywhere. And so my family was a dairy family. We got out of it in 2008 with the crash coming and all that. Mm-hmm. And but all of my friends, and I still work in the ag industry. It is a really cool area. There is a lot to do, but there's definitely that slower pace. So if you want to go to San Francisco or LA or it's pretty close. But if you just want a good time, good California weather, I think the Central Valley is awesome. I mean, it really is pretty. And there's a racing community here. You don't really get that in San Francisco and LA. You kind of have to go to the outskirts cities, and that's what we are. And these communities, in my opinion, are the best,
Well, and what a lot of folks may not know, and I didn't know this until my late wife told me, is there's a lot of people that live in Merced, but they commute to Sacramento or they commute to even San Francisco or the Bay Area, San Jose daily. It's a long drive, mm-hmm. and they sit in traffic for a long time, but it's because the affordability is a little bit better in that part. Versus obviously Bay Area, you're paying, you're having to sacrifice limbs and life almost to just have a monthly payment.
Oh yeah. It's, so there's, I'm sure, Rick Diaz, my buddy, him and his mm-hmm. wife, Farron, they live in Los Banos, and Los Banos is just kind of became one of those towns where a lot of people, come over from like San Jose, and then they just commute back to San Jose every day. And it's kind of just driven the housing pricing through the roof. I mean, just to get a decent home there, nothing big or anything like that, it's $400,000 or $500,000, and that's not even a really good home. Mm-hmm. It's just small, and there's not a lot to do. So it's things out here are tight that way. But if you can hunker down, put your boots on, and get to work, it's worth it to get back out to the racetrack and everything like that. But yeah, it definitely, these areas are known for commuters. So traffic fortunately in Merced isn't too bad, but you go to Los Banos or any place that's somewhat close to either the Bay Area or even LA, people go from Bakersfield to LA every day. I don't see how they do it, man.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's tough.
Because like it's not uncommon for some people one way, 4 hours to go to work and then 4 hours back.
Oh yeah.
Which blows my mind.
Oh yeah. So I was doing a job, with a buddy of mine. We left, Merced at 2 a.m. Because we had to be on a job at like 6 or 7 or something like that. So we left, we went down, we did this job. We got another call. We were in Anaheim in LA, and, we had to go to Compton, which, when the sun goes down in Compton, you better lock your doors and be ready for a fight. That's just a tough area.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, so to go from Anaheim to Compton, which was roughly 10 miles, it took us about 2.5 hours just to get through 10 miles of traffic. I mean, it was brutal, just bumper to bumper. And so that's why, us guys in the Central Valley, we just like to stay here and try and build up on what we have here. And it really is a beautiful area. And, the racing's always good. The community's always good to us. And that's why we're trying to build on it,
No doubt about it. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time of obviously to tell the world your story, which is a great story, and all the cool things that you've been able to do, and some of the cool things that obviously getting back to racing that you're going to be doing. You've mentioned you mentioned your wife and the support you've gotten there. Feel free to mention her again, but any other folks that you want to mention, or even sponsors that have made all of this possible, so that you can come back to racing, which I think it shouldn't be overlooked, because you hear of guys, things happen, right? Guys get in, then they get out, they start a family, and then they get their kids going, or sometimes they don't come back. With your case is you are coming back, and I think that's a success story that should be celebrated.
Yeah, I appreciate you allowing me to do that. So I got 3 big sponsors, which the first one being South Pass Co. That's my wife's business. That she's, when I didn't have the money, she was forking out tires and helping me get through the tough times. So, fellas, if you're out there and you need to buy a gift for your wife, support South Pass Co. We're just a small time family business, and my wife, puts it right back into racing. So we appreciate the business. Then there's Cab Air Systems, Kent Harstad and Chris Rolfe. Those guys took me under their wing, taught me a lot, and gave me an opportunity to get back into a race car. And they helped me out with tires and stuff like that. They're great guys. And then California Nut Company. They're a nut packer here in they're in Denair, California. And Brian and George Tavernis, those guys, they've stuck with me in one of my businesses, and they've helped me out. And anytime I need something, they're just guys I can go to. They're great. And then I have to mention, my Uncle Mike Villanueva. He helps me out with building bodies, and he's so detailed. I wouldn't be able to do it without him. And then my cousin Alex Stanford, he helps me with a lot of setup and any issues I might have, I can always call on him. And just the whole support of my family. I really appreciate everyone, and I appreciate you for taking the time to even talk to me.
Well, you're most welcome. You're most welcome, Chase. For folks that want to see what your upcoming schedule is looking like, or to follow your journey with results, what is the best way is there like a social media page or anything that you've got going that people can check out?
Yeah. So just add me on either Facebook, Instagram, or now I'm on TikTok too. I'm going to start releasing some videos and try and maybe produce a little money there, but all my handles should just be Chase Awe. So my first name and then my last name is AUE. So look me up, and I appreciate every follow and every fan I can get.
And are you guys doing right now or in the future an apparel run where folks can support you with either getting a t-shirt or a sweatshirt?
Yes, we are. So my wife is supposed to be helping me out with we have a current design. So we're probably going to be putting those out in May. Okay. So I will have t-shirts coming up here pretty soon. I do have hats. So anybody who wants a hat or shirt, just message me on either Facebook or Instagram, and I'll get one to you.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to see and follow along the progress of what 2025's got in store for you. Obviously, I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully hopefully see you at some point in the 2025 season down in California.
Yes, sir. I look forward to you coming out here, and maybe I don't know if I can afford it. If I could take some time off work, maybe I could come out there and see you too. So
yeah,
I'm sure we'll cross paths soon.
Sure, yeah. Wild West Speed Week. It's in June. It's a good time.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, race fans, that does it for this interview. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope that you continue to enjoy these upcoming interviews. We appreciate it if you would like and subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, wherever it's at. Give us a like and give us a subscription so that we can deliver more of these great interviews to you for your listening pleasure. In the meantime, wherever we're at, wherever you're listening, we hope you have a great rest of your day and a pleasant evening, and we will see you soon here at Highside Racing Promotions.